One day, as Cathy was at school, they were talking about doing a talent show, which was something she was looking forward to, because her talent was singing, and she knew exactly what song she wanted to sing. She was unsure if her teacher, Miss Norris, would let her do it.
So, are you excited for your big show this weekend?
Yep, I'm gonna sing a song from one of my favorite plays.
Oh? Which one?
It's a surprise, but I'm not sure if Miss Morris will let me do it.
Aw, sweetie. If the school won't let you do it, then we'll have your back no matter what. And if none of the kids will help you, then Lydia and BJ will.
What?
Beetlejuice said. He was in the back seat with Lydia and he wasn't fully paying attention to the conversation. But when his name was brought up, he had to make sure that he had heard that right.
Yeah, honey. You can shapeshift into a little kid. And I'm sure Cathy will be nice enough to give you lessons before the big day.
Delia, I don't think that's a good idea.
It's settled. Oh, I can't wait for this weekend.
BJ just sat there, not believing what had just happened. Later that night, he was tossing and turning in his sleep, having a nightmare. In the dream, it was like the scene in Snow White, where she was in the meadow picking flowers and singing a little tune. But BJ was Snow White, and the huntsman was Miss Argentina. She was about to kill him, but she couldn't do it. She fell to her knees, crying.
I can't do it. I'm sorry, darling. Please forgive me.
I don't understand.
She's disappointed in you, and she wants you gone.
Who?
Your mother.
My mother?
You have to run. You have to get out of here before it's too late.
So that's what the demon did. He ran into the woods and tried to escape, but it just made things worse until he heard a familiar voice calling out to him. When he woke up, there was Lydia, shaking him awake.
Beej, are you okay? I could hear you screaming from all the way down the hall.
Beetlejuice immediately grabbed her for a hug and started to cry.
Liz, I can't do it. I just can't.
Can't do what?
That show! I can't do that show with Cathy.
What? Dude, you have to. She's counting on you. What is it? Are musicals not your thing or something?
No! It's just... Oh. Look, if I tell you, will you promise to not tell Delia?
Yeah, sure.
So, Beetlejuice explained that when he was little, his mum discovered that he had inherited his father's powers, and she took him all over the netherworld like he was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, and put on a grand show just to make some money. It left him exhausted, and he didn't want to do it anymore. But every time he would tell his mum that, she would burn him with a cigarette. A few years went by, and the last show he did was at his high school. But what he didn't know was that some of his bullies were planning to pull a Carrie White on his performance. When he headed onto the stage, Beetlejuice had lots of thoughts running through his head, wishing that he could have a happy life, and wishing that he had parents that loved him. The closest thing he had to that was Miss Argentina. Ever since he was born, she was always there for him. When Juno got out of hand, he always wished that she would be his new mum, but he knew that would never happen, so he just counted his blessings and was grateful that she was in his life. She was even coming to see the show that day. When the show started, everything seemed to be going well, until the bullies poured a bucket of pig's blood on him. As the audience saw that, they didn't know how to react. Was this part of the performance? Was this some kind of trick? I mean, what just happened? But then one of the bullies jokingly yelled that Beetlejuice just got his period, and that left everyone laughing. But not Tina. She knew that something was wrong, and that she had to find Juno to put an end to this. While BJ stood on the stage frozen, something in him just snapped. The sound of the laughter, the anger that he had held in, the abuse that he had had to put up with. He couldn't take it anymore. So, he turned to the audience and started to use his powers to hurt him, to get them to shut up. He locked the doors so no one could leave the theatre. He even hurt Tina when she tried to help him. It turned into a whole bloody mess. After he snapped back to himself and saw what he did, he felt sick to his stomach. He didn't want to become a monster like his parents, but it had happened anyway. And when he looked up at the balcony, he saw his mum sitting there, for once, proud of her son.
Oh my God,
Lydia said, speechless. With a story like that, it made so much sense.
Yeah. It was also the same day that she sent me here when I told her that I was moving in with Miss Argentina.
Aw, Beesh, you can't keep living like this. It was a long time ago, and it was not your fault. Look, I have an idea. How about before this weekend, we could train you to be comfortable on stage again?
How?
There's an old abandoned theater downtown that hasn't been used for years. It'll be perfect. It'll just be you and me. No one else. Not even your mom.
So, he agreed, and the next day, he, Lydia, and Cathy went to the theatre. The 6-year-old didn't understand why they were there. BJ and Lydia knew that Cathy would tell her parents if they told her the truth, so they just lied and said that they were there because they needed to teach BJ the song that they were going to sing. After a while of BJ crying, angrily storming off and ranting, he finally got over his stage fright and was ready. When the weekend came, Beetlejuice, who was asleep that morning, got a call from Jacques in the Netherworld saying that there was a big poker game going on and he needed BJ's help because he had bet everything that he had. With BJ being half asleep, he forgot what day it was and left right away. Later that afternoon, the whole family was wondering where BJ was. They looked all over the house, but they still couldn't find him. They thought that maybe he was already at the school to get ready. But Lydia knew that couldn't be true. Meanwhile, as the game was still running, BJ was doing good, and he almost got all of Jacques' stuff back when he got another phone call. It was Lydia.
Hello?
Beesh, where the hell are you? Cathy's song is about to start.
That reminder hit him like a ton of bricks. He felt so bad, but at the same time, his anxiety kicked up after thinking about the stage fright.
Oh, was that today?
Yes, it was today. Don't you remember the hours of rehearsals yesterday?
Well, I'm sorry, Lids, but something's come up. Can't she find someone else to help her out?
No, she can't. This is a big surprise that only you, me, and her know about. Please, she's counting on you, Beige.
After she hung up, he sat there, not knowing what to do. If he played one more game, who knew what would happen? So he folded, snapped his fingers, and disappeared. When he appeared, he was backstage at the school's talent show, ready for his role. When Cathy found him, she was so happy to see him, and she hugged him, knowing that there was only 2 minutes left until her song. Finally, it was time. The curtains opened, one of the teachers turned on the boombox, and the show started. But as it went on, all of the adults in the room's jaw dropped to the floor when they realised that the song was God, That's Good from Sweeney Todd. Lydia was Toby, Cathy was Miss Lovett, and Beetlejuice was Sweeney Todd. All of the parents who were sitting around Charles and Delia slowly turned to them, not looking too happy, which made the couple sink down into their chairs with embarrassment. After the song was over, the room was dead silent with no applause. No, nothing, which made the little girl feel upset, wondering if she was going to get in trouble for this. But luckily, BJ was there to help. He snapped his fingers, making the whole crowd clap their hands, which made Cathy happy. When they got backstage, the principal was there, ready to tell Cathy about her punishment. But once again, BJ snapped his fingers and made him give them a good comment about all the hard work that she did instead. After they got home, Cathy had a talk about how that surprise was not good and about how she should have told her parents before they got in trouble for it. After that, Delia went to Beetlejuice's room to tell him about what Lydia told her.
Look, sweetheart, I know what your mom did was wrong, but you have to keep reminding yourself that I'm not like her, and you having stage fright is something that I can relate to. You see, a long time ago, I was doing a TED Talk, but as soon as I got on stage, everything went wrong. I couldn't speak. My throat was dry. I dropped my cards, and with everyone making fun of me, I ran out. When I was in my dressing room, I heard a knock on the door, but I didn't want to see anyone, but still they came in anyway. And do you know who that person was?
Who?
Charles.
Hearing that reply, the demon couldn't believe it. Knowing how that man was, it was hard to believe that was how they met. But it made him realise that if he had a problem, it would be okay to tell.